Hey Joel, this is Rani, aka Runberg, Instagrammer and snowboarder. So first off, I want to say thank you for the Cameo request. This was an interesting one actually, because I was really trying to think about the answer that I wanted to give to you, and it was actually a little bit confronting because I was kind of thinking about it in terms of my own life, and then I was kind of like, ooh, I need to take my own advice more. So I think that's something I'm going to be doing after this. And that will hopefully make more sense as I explain my answer. So I'm going to kind of explain it separately because I think it sort of applies a little bit differently, but essentially it is the same answer for both sort of sides, for the snowboarding and the life side. So first off, the snowboarding side of things. So to sort of like push through and have that breakthrough when you're struggling with a trick or with riding. So for me, the things that I found that helped me was first off, kind of build towards doing the trick, learning to commit to it, and then also sort of finding people to support you. And I'll explain that a bit more. So for me, what I would do when I was learning something is I would do it in very baby steps, and I would build that muscle memory, because when I started building that muscle memory, I would get better at doing whatever sort of part of the trick I was sort of working towards. And then I would get more confidence. And then eventually I'd get to the point where I could put it all together and land the trick. And then obviously the more you do that, repetition, it gets easier and easier until it's just like, it's just like walking. It's just super easy. You don't have to think about it. So kind of build those baby steps. I know people will be like, nah, just send it. And I've seen people land things on a fluke, but it makes me feel sick to my stomach, especially because I've also seen people end up in hospital, or, unfortunately I've had friends who are, amazing snowboarders not make it through because of something that's gone wrong. So I would say, yeah, don't just send it, kind of work up to it first. And also when you get to that point where, you are confident in trying it, but it is scary, as long as it's not sort of ridiculously outside of your capabilities, just commit. And it's a very mental thing as well. Especially because I like jumping. That's what I used to like doing over rails and whatnot. But coming into a jump, you get to that point where it's like, okay, keep your speed. And then you get to the takeoff and you're about to take off and then you freak out. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? And that's the wrong time to not commit, because it's those moments where things are going to go wrong. You just instinctively, your body reacts and then you're not set up, to land or whatever it is. So in those cases, you just got to commit, and it is scary and it is a big mental game. I used to do it by having like a certain song. My song for jumping was Avicii's Levels. It just kind of got me in the zone. So when I was like trying to do bigger jumps and stuff like that, that's what I would listen to, and it just kind of helped build that confidence up. And again, it was a thing like I started off with small jumps and then I'd kind of work up to bigger ones. I think, when I was kind of hitting bigger jumps, it was probably terrible advice, but I do remember, I think I hit my first like 60-footer jump when I was in Tahoe, and it's the end of the season and it was slushy and I was scared to do it. I was like, no, I want to do it. And I had a drink and that kind of calmed my nerves, and then I did it, and it was absolutely fine, but I was very scared and it was big. So I'm glad that's the one that I committed on. But it's just a case of like, it's a mental thing. Don't overthink it. If you've done the work beforehand and you can be confident going into it, then you'll be fine. Of course, there's always going to be situations where you're gonna take the fall. But if you get to that point where you've done the work beforehand, you're in a better position to fall well. So the chance of injuries will be a lot less, if that makes sense. So if I've got like, build up to it, commit. And the last thing I found really helped me is ride with people who are sort of more skillful than you in riding, or have more experience, or just, more experienced riders, but who are also supportive, because I found in that sense, it would push me to ride outside of my limits, but I wouldn't feel uncomfortable if I wouldn't be able to quite, you know, do what they were doing, or if I needed like a little bit longer to keep up. And in doing that, then I got to a stage where I could keep up and I was fine. So they're the kind of things I think that allowed me to push through and become a better rider, or, you know, learn tricks, and that kind of stuff. So that's what I would kind of say in that regard. In terms of life, and this is what I was kind of really thinking about, because I find I struggle quite a bit with things. It's funny because I'll either go from one side of the spectrum to the other. I will, for example, move overseas on a whim and be fine with that. But if I want to like do a project I'm passionate about, I will really struggle with that, because I get like imposter syndrome and be like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not good enough for this. Like, I don't deserve this. So I think in the past, what I've done is very similar steps. And these are things I actually have to really get better at myself as well. So this is why I was a little bit confronting. I guess the first thing is like kind of just taking the steps for me to sort of prove to myself that I can do things. And it kind of makes things less daunting for me, which makes it more achievable. And then as I achieve things, you know, I get those dopamine hits, or I get more confidence in myself. And it's kind of like the muscle memory thing. The more I do it, the less scared I am of doing things, the less anxious I become. And then going on from that, I need to definitely believe in myself more. So believe in yourself. That's kind of the same as, you know, the committing to doing a trick. You really just got to believe you can do it and push yourself over that line. And then once you've done it, like, you're like, why did I doubt myself in the first place? I just proved myself that I could do it. So believe in yourself as well. And that's definitely something I've struggled with a lot in my life. And I guess as well, in the sense of finding people who are better than you to ride with, find those people who support you, who inspire you. You know, for example, find the person doing the thing that you want to do, and let that motivate you. So, I'm sorry. So I think in that kind of regard, it is kind of similar to the snowboarding thing, but it's, instead of snowboarding, it's like life. So, yeah, the snowboarding advice, I've definitely done. That's how I've always approached things. The life advice, that is also how I approach things, but I need to really believe in myself more and get better at it. So I hope my advice has been able to help you, and I hope it's something that's going to be in the back of your mind when you sort of go ahead and you ride, or, you know, you try and get to where you want in life. But I wish you the best of luck with everything, with your snowboarding, with whatever you want to sort of achieve in your life. And yeah, I hope this really helps. I hope you've had an amazing week so far, and hopefully we'll see you out in the slopes somewhere. Mwah! Much love.